Thank you. Thank you very much. Especially want to welcome Krishna Marianka. He is the director for the Rotary Fellowships and represents the fun part of Rotary. So welcome to this club. He needs no introduction. He is an old friend of the club anyway. And today's program, we have a very interesting session. We have Srikanth talking about his adventure and what he's learned from there. So thank you, Srikanth, for agreeing to take this up and talk to us. I would now like to hand over to Suman for her announcements, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sushila. This week, we have the birthdays of two lovely spouses. First is Anjana, wife of Prashant. She celebrates her birthday on this Saturday. And in the coming week, we have Indu Sridhar, who will be celebrating her birthday on October 11th, Wednesday. We wish both of them the very best in all their endeavors. This Saturday, we have the board meeting. This board meeting will be held at RHL at 6:30 p.m. And this will be hosted by Mithun Pai. That's it from my side, Sushila. Thank you.
Thank you, Suman. We actually requested Krishna to talk to us about Rotary Fellowships as part of our Rotary Information series, and he kindly consented to do so. So with that, I'll just hand you over to Krishna. Krishna, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll be just talking without a face because I'm still traveling and signals are quite weak. I don't want to miss the signals. Now, thank you very much for Ashok for having me invited, and of course for the rest of the Rotary Club. But see, in this year we have this challenge of 3191 and 92 being created at the district levels, which obviously means at some point in time there will be respective district fellowship groups. Notwithstanding that development over the years, we don't want to at the moment create any fellowship groups per se district wise, but I think we believe eventually it will happen whether we like it or not. So which also means that the fellowship groups will have some kind of a mirror, in case if you have a music fellowship group or a golfing fellowship group, well, they can choose to be together with them under one umbrella, or they can create their own. It depends on how the whole thing evolves, and no one is to say how this will go through. But technically, as a formality, we believe at some stage both the district.
Did we lose Krishna, or is it just me?
No, I think we hear the audio.
We can't hear him.
Krishna, we are unable to hear you.
Krishna has left the meeting.
Krishna ni begane baro.
I guess he got called for some fellowship.
I'm sure he'll log back in.
The signals are what they are.
Yeah.
Ramdas is Srikanth, not Krishna.
What?
Krishnani Vegane Baro, it says. So is it Srikanth, not Krishna?
No, I am here. Krishna logged off. No, got logged out.
Okay.
Okay, Dash,
Gurudev,
possible
I
to
didn't
check.
sing that song.
Dash, possible to check if Krishna is joining back?
No, he is not.
Dash is probably speaking on mute.
Yeah, he's joined.
Yeah, join back.
Yeah. Krishna, welcome back. Where is he? Ah, there he is.
Sorry, I can't remember what was the last thing I spoke and you heard, guys. I went on speaking, thinking that you're all there.
So the last thing I heard was golf. After that, you went off.
Okay, so what I'm saying is there are at least, 42 fellowship groups that are there in 9192. I wanted to understand how many of the club members already know about these 42 fellowship groups. Ashok? Hello?
I'm not sure all of us know everything about all of them, but I think
Right. Okay.
we do have a lot
No,
of new Rotarians as well. So I think it would be good to kind of just do a quick introduction
yes.
on
Now
what
I'll
they
just,
are about.
yeah. So these fellowship groups, I hope the club members know what is a fellowship group.
Yes.
Ashok? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so no, I'm not going to go very basic. I'm presuming that members of the club already know what is a fellowship group. So I was actually speaking about the different fellowship groups that are existing in the 319192. There are as many as 42 fellowship groups as on date, which some of them are you'll be surprised that there are fellowship groups for example, for stargazing. Fellowship groups for stargazing. There are beer fellowship groups. There are fellowship groups for music, motorcycling. There are many more which are coming. Somebody was proposing last year. Of course, there is some of the popular fellowship groups are to do with cricket. These have been there for years now, many, many years, probably a couple of decades. Then there are also fellowship groups which are evolving, which also include some of the proposals we have received is to open up fellowship group for football. So these fellowship groups are special interest groups. Let me put it that way. Special interest groups, special hobbies group. People like to be, they don't need to be Rotarians. You can bring them in for being a part of the fellowship group. Only thing you need to understand is most of the fellowship groups are defined as people who become the office bearers for these fellowship groups need to be Rotarians. But otherwise, most people who have common interests or common hobbies get together to meet often, share things, and that's what makes a fellowship group. So which means not really that there is a big age group, restrictions and things like that. People can join in from different age groups. I know, for example, Rotary Wildlife Group, Rotary Wildlife Fellowship Group has got all kinds of people, young and the very old, and then the middle. All kinds of people are there. So this is something that I wanted you to know. And going forward, 9192, as I said, I'm not sure whether you heard me saying this a little earlier. The fellowship groups of 9192 may have their own fellowship groups, but there is no right now compulsive action needs to be taken that you need to form a separate, there are some fellowship groups who are carving out, for example, Rotary Fellowship for cricketing Bangaloreans, something like that. They want to be together and things like that. But not necessary that you need to be as a group together. Different districts, fellowship groups mean additional strengths. So these things I want you to know that if you ever wanting to develop a new fellowship group or build a new fellowship group, there are some formats And they're all, of course, most of the information are available on the website. I can also send after this, after this talk of mine, I can share the different fellowship groups and contact numbers and email addresses of all the fellowship groups so far, and you guys can join additional fellowship groups if you're not members already and if it interests you, or if you choose that you want to form your own new fellowship group of a particular special interest, you're most welcome to do so. There is no limit to the number of people how fellowship group. The idea is Rotary encourages these fellowship groups the worldwide because they feel that's one of the best ways of reaching out to people who have some kind of thoughts otherwise about Rotary, that it is only a service organization. It is a service organization, but don't forget Rotary formed because of fellowship that started about a century ago. So which means that if you want to start a new fellowship group, be it of any interest, as long as it is not formed already, and then there is something local fellowship group, then there's also international fellowship groups. Recently, the international fellowship group of cricketing guys went to Australia, Melbourne, played cricket and came back. That's the kind of fellowship that's happening internationally. There are a lot of learnings, there are a lot of sharings, business happens. Then some people finally decide, okay, that's a lot of fellowship we did. Now it's time to give back something to the world that we live in through Rotary, and then they join and become Rotarians. This has also happened in a big time. So Rotary encourages this wholeheartedly without any restrictions. As long fellowship groups are maintained according to in the spirit of Rotary and some small rules and regulations on how to run a fellowship group, as long as you're good at it in submission of your yearly accounts and things like that, as long as you're accountable, I think Rotary encourages. The district office does not interfere in fellowship groups as such, except for the accounts that needs to be provided to the district governor at the end of each year. But otherwise, district office has absolutely nothing to do with these fellowship groups. They encourage people to be brought in from different walks of life for different purposes. They enjoy, their only purpose is to enjoy the fellowship, learning, sharing, and kind of knowledge transfers of different topics, subjects, and special interests. So with that, I just want to say that's all I have to say. But in case you have anything, I'll give you my name and number. You can always write to me. If you just write Rotary Fellowship, Google that, it'll take you straight to the Rotary website pages where you can learn, know a lot about it. And beyond that, if you need my support, I'm always there, phone call away. And if you need anything more than that, I'll also share the entire list of 42 fellowship groups which are very active in 319192. You can choose to join this right away. Apart from that, if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer this. Take a couple of questions before I sign off and let the meeting go on. Thank you.
Thanks, Krishna. That was very, very helpful. A few folks have been asking whether we have the list of all the fellowship groups, and you just said you would be sending it to us. I think that's great. So thank you for that. Are there any questions anyone else has? Okay, so I think we'll let you go. Krishna, thanks a ton for being with us today. This was a very useful talk, and since we have a number of new Rotarians here, I think this is very appropriate as well.
Yeah, I just want to leave the last line that, in Rotary, most people don't join because they think that it's too much of a service load. But it's not true. I want to tell the new members, Rotarian members who have joined in here, that, of course it's service, but service happens when you're willfully wanting to do. Rotary has no compulsion, nothing. And I encourage you to be a part of Rotary through the fellowship groups for the moment. And if in case you can bring in more of your friends, where they don't have to be Rotarians, but they can be fellowship, part of the fellowship group as a member, Rotary fellowship member. So, and over the period of time, if people would like to become Rotarians, being a Rotary member, that's a different process altogether. But right now, enjoy the fellowship, have a lots of fun. Service will happen, but first build your friendship through the various fellowship groups available. And I wish you all the best. Thank you very much, Ashok and President. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you. Okay, so I think we'll now hand over to Srikanth. Srikanth, you've done some amazing adventures. So, and a lot of us can only kind of, we watch pictures, we look at videos, we hear others speak, but don't have the courage to kind of plunge into something like this. So let me invite you to present to us.
Thank you so much, Sushila. What I'll do is I'll just start my presentation. I mean, I don't have a presentation, but I'll share some pictures and the story behind it. I've always been into sports and adventure. Wherever the word risk or danger comes, I like it. So I get excited, and that's how I start. So I'll just share my screen. You're able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Great.
Srikanth, you're not audible.
Is it?
It's back.
All right. Yeah. So I was saying that it was not my last adventure trip was to Everest Base Camp, but it was not always the mountains which excited me. It was always the travel which would excite me. So I've been a biker for last 20 years, and during one of these biking visits, okay, I'm not able to change my 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah, we are back on. Srikanth.
It's all right. Okay, I think there's something wrong with this.
Yeah, we can see the
Yeah,
second.
it's not the same sequence which I wanted it to come. Yeah, so it was always about the travel, that took me to places, and in one of these travels is when I saw this in Sikkim, where which got excited me to climb the mountains. So then I was doing my research when I wanted to do my summit to Everest. That is how actually I started thinking that I should go to Everest. I should do the summit. So there were some prerequisites for requisite which you need to qualify. So they said first thing is that you cannot directly climb Mount Everest. For that, you need to first do the base camps. Post the base camps, you need to summit at least 6,000 meters and above peaks. So once you finish that, that's when you get to go to Mount Everest. So that's how it all started for me. Then I said, okay, let's start with Mount Everest Base Camp, and the training for that started. This was, I was not very much into fitness and things like that. So this is where I started. My fitness trainer used to kill me with all the fitness regime. So what you require, basic fitness regime, what you require is you need to build on your strength, which is more important. A lot of people would say it is cardio, but I would say it is more to do with your strength training. You need to have a lot of strength to carry your backpack, to carry yourself. So you need to build your leg muscles, and of course cardio, which helps you in a high altitude where the oxygen levels are lesser. Apart from this, I feel that drinking water and keeping yourself hydrated and eating on time is much more important while you're up there climbing, because it actually helps you to acclimatize yourself, and the slower you are, the better for you, because you are able to get acclimatized to the weather and the oxygen conditions there. So that's how it is. I know you can ask me questions. We can have this as interactive as possible, because I'm not used to doing a presentation of this. Whenever my friends talk, I keep talking. So we can have it as interaction. This is one of the pictures when we were in the last leg, the day before we reached the Everest base camp. It started snowing and the temperatures dropped to about -7. So this is how it looked. And this is how this is where we had to walk through and to reach the Everest base camp. Okay, so I had actually lined up the pictures, but it is not coming in the proper order. So I'm struggling a bit. Yeah. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes.
So yeah, so when I thought about EBC, what I thought was it will be like this, very easy. There'll be a lot of good places to stay. You just walk, every day 6 hours, and you get to a nice place. You get to stay. This is what I thought it would be, but it was this. You didn't have many good places to stay, and you had to carry your stuff. There were people who would. This is not for us, but there are a lot of tea houses en route where people still carry things on their back. So there are 4 cylinders this man is carrying, and some empty cans, which are fuel and stuff like that. Not vehicle for the house for cooking. And this is how it looks at the beginning. There are a lot of people, everybody. This is the Ramechhap airport, which is a very small airport, and there are a lot of people. And especially for me, because I was doing solo and only with the Sherpa, it was very hard for me to get in through the counters, because there were large operators who would, who would be given the priority because they have large bookings and stuff like that. So I had to go through this, and it took me a couple of hours to get my clearance. And finally, I get to this small plane. Tara Air, which is supposed to have the lowest mishaps, because Lukla Airport is one of the most dangerous airport in the world, because as you land, the front is up, it's a mountain. So if you miss your runway, there are 100% chances that you'll go and hit that mountain there. And this is how we eat. This is the dal soup and the Tibet bread. A hot shower would cost you 600, and this is your laundry service thing. And this is, but after all these things, what do you get? This is what you get. This view is worth all that struggle and efforts you put in.
Which is the Mount Everest peak here?
This one, this here. You are able to see my cursor?
No. Is it in the middle or?
This one.
I think this one. No.
Sorry, this one. This. Are you able to see?
Yes.
This.
You can take the cursor up because it's dark at the. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can you shake it there now? Yeah. It's on the.
This one is the Mount Everest on the left. Okay. So this is not from the base camp, because when I reached the base camp, the weather was really bad. I could not take much pictures there. We had to rush back to the base. I'm not able. Yeah. How do I move this now? Sorry, I'm a little handicapped with this. Okay, that's where I had to go. This peak is much more beautiful than the Everest. This is called Tamserku peak, and this is more technical in nature. The height is not much; it's only 6,300 odd meters, but it is more technical than the Mount Everest, and not many have done the summit on this.
What do you mean by technical?
Technical is, if you see the ridges here, you need to be more skilled. You have your lines and everything put up, and you need to really climb with the help of rope and your, the mountain shoes, the snowshoes, and all those things. Whereas if it is not very technical, it will be a very gradual summit to the peak.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Everest, you have, while you're doing summit to Everest, you have 3 base camps. One is the Everest base camp, then you have camp 1, 2, and then is the summit. So in each of those camps, you have a flat surface where you could actually pitch your tent and, go up, stay back and go up. But in this particular peak, there is no much flat area where you could actually pitch your tent. So if you try to summit, you have to start early, around 3 o'clock in the morning, and do the summit before the sunrise, and try to get down before the sun's heat starts melting the snow. Yeah, so this is how I was really tired. This is the last stretch, last 2 kilometers to the Everest base camp. I was actually dead by this time. I have a video, but I'm not able to play that video. One second.
So, Srikanth, what is the typical age profile of people going to the base camp overall that you saw?
Yeah, so it's very interesting question, Narayan, because everybody thinks that there are a lot of youngsters who do this, but actually there were a couple of people from India, Mumbai, who were above 60. And they were able to do it. They kept their own pace, and they were doing it. But you just need to have that mindset, challenge yourself and climb. So I think I saw a lot of old people doing it. I met one person from Switzerland who was almost 68, and he was actually doing a summit. And the youngest guy I met was about 21, but he was not able to finish the base camp because he got the altitude sickness. So your fitness, you might be a gymmer, or you might be a guy who's doing high cardio workouts, but it is not necessary that will help you do your base camps or summits, because it's all in the head. I feel you need to have a very strong head to keep yourself calm, because oxygen levels drop down to 60, 58, and you got to keep your calm.
So mental makeup is more important, right, Srikanth?
Yes. Because physically you can train yourself in maybe 4 months or 6 months. It is a mental strength you require, because there are times when it's so cold, you want to go to the toilet, but you just don't want to get out of the bed, because to remove that, you're wearing 3-4 layers. You want to remove that, go to the toilet, and put it back again. It feels really tough. So there are days when I was actually thinking, I'm just waiting for it to become 4 o'clock in the morning so that I can just get ready and start walking.
Is it very crowded? I was told that nowadays there are so many people who are going there. So even at the Everest base camp, it is so crowded, and also on the path, the plastic and environment situation is quite bad.
Yes. So
even on the way to summit.
Yes, so there is, see now in the last couple of years, after the pandemic, I think people have started visiting or going on a holiday as a vengeance. Of course, Everest, Nepal is also seen that kind of influx. Earlier, we would not see many Indians, attempting these things, but this time when I went, I saw a lot of Indians who were there, who were from Mumbai, who were from Tamil Nadu, Bangalore. I met one guy from Koramangala. So yes, it is crowded, and there's a lot of plastic built up because of that. But a lot of people, what they do is there's each check post you go, they request you to, if possible, whoever is returning back, they take with them about 1 or 2 kilos of plastic waste and dump it at the Lukla thing. From there, it gets cleared. So there are a lot of people who do that. While coming back, you try to carry 1 or 2 kilos of plastic waste. But it is crowded. But what happens is when you're walking, it's so vast. I'll just show you a picture how it looks. I'll just play a video. So even though you are with a group and you are walking with them, but you tend to get lonely. There's nobody around you for a long time, Are you able to see this?
No, not yet.
Yeah. So this is how lonely it would be, with 2 or 3 people en route. But yeah, when you get to the base, there are a lot of people, But when you're walking, there are only very few number of people you could actually see. This is one, and this is just before reaching.
So typically, Srikanth, how much kilometers do you walk in a day, and how much hours?
So we walk we start at about 6 o'clock and close in by about 4 or 5. So typically 10 to 11 hours. And in the beginning, you're walking, say from Lukla, you start up till Namchi Bazaar, you do about 10 to 12 kilometers a day, because there's a lot of elevation gain. So it's the third day you reach Namche Bazaar, where you gain an elevation of 600 meters. Okay, that is one of the toughest climb you will go through. After that, it is gradual increase of 400, 500 meters. So Everest Base Camp is at 5,300 plus meters. So it's the third day where you do the most elevation of 600 meters in a day. Rest of the days it is 400. But what happens, so you take about 8 days to reach the top. And as you go up, when you reach close to 3,800 meters, your oxygen level starts decreasing tremendously, So that's where you find it very difficult to take your steps and walk. But the cheat code to that is keep drinking water and keep your pace very slow. And you'll be able to do it. You don't get tired. Just keep drinking water. You won't feel hungry, but look at the time and eat.
And so with each person, do you carry maybe some energy stuff, nuts?
Yes. So I was carrying every day. I would carry. 1 second. Yeah, so every day I would carry about 2.5 liters of water with me on my back, and 1 liter water bottle, and I would also have energy bars. So I keep about 3 energy bars on a daily basis, protein bars, nuts.
So from the start of the trip to the end,
Yes.
Did you lose weight?
Yes, I did. I lost about. I don't know if I lost. I totally lost about 4.5 kilos. I think during the trek I lost 2 kilos, and during training I lost 2 kilos. Yeah. And this is one of the views. This was a day of off. We are not climbing. We were doing acclimatization. So we went up and we came down. So this is somewhere around 4,000 meters. I got this stuff. Just wanted to climb on that and take a picture. Yeah, this is Everest Base Camp. Yeah, 5,364 meters. So it started snowing just after this photo was taken. So we had to actually rush back.
And there is a window, right, in which you do this base camp typically?
Yes, so it starts from Feb. The temperatures are going to be even worse. So people generally prefer between April 15th to May 15th, and then it is now. So September last week to up till November is a good time to go.
Srikanth, when did you go?
I went on April 22nd and I was back on May 8th.
So how long did you take to come down after you reached the base camp?
Down is only 3 days. You take only 3 days to come down. Going up is about 8 days.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same route, but since you are losing elevation, you are a little faster.
Yeah.
But for few people, coming down is difficult.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, going up was difficult. Coming down was not very difficult.
And in the base camp, how much? How many days? I mean, you spent one night or one day or what?
No, base camp you cannot. I mean, if you are not summiting, then you don't stay on the base camp. You come back.
Okay.
So we went to the base camp. The place is called Gorakshep. From Gorakshep, you start trekking. It's only 4 kilometers, but it takes about 3 hours for you to get to the base camp. From Gorakshep to the base camp, and you spend some time, and you can actually meet everybody who's going to do the summit. So they would be waiting for one particular period where actually they could. So although they would be staying there for 7 days, 8 days, 1 week, just waiting for the right weather. Because when I actually reached this place, I could hear an avalanche on top of the Everest, and we had to actually stop and then proceed further. So the weather on top is really difficult to predict. So they just wait there for the best weather to come, and then they start around 2 o'clock in the night, reach there by about 6, and they start climbing back.
You mean the summit?
The summit, yes.
Oh, okay. So you spent about an hour or two at base camp and got back, is it?
Yeah, so I could not actually spend 2 hours because the weather was really bad. So I was there only for about 20 minutes. And then we started walking back. So when I started walking back, there were some stones falling. So we had to actually stop and wait for that to clear and then start walking back. And the next 2 days, the weather was really bad. So we had to wait. But since we were just coming down, we just weathered that whole thing and just kept coming down. So just before you reach Gorakshep, the distance is not very high, very much. It's just about 2 kilometers. But
Everest?
sorry. So I was telling, just before you reach Gorakshep, the distance is not much, but that is one place where you get the most loneliest, because you are really tired and you're not able to take one more step, and then you can see your tea house, but to reach to the tea house, you have to actually go down. There's a river, you cross the river and then again climb up. Okay, and so that is one place where I actually started thinking, why did I even sign up for this? And all those kind of thoughts come. And then finally, when I reached the tea house, there was no place. So I was standing outside and started snowing. My hands were actually cold. So, I asked for hot water and I dipped my hand. I removed my gloves and I dipped my hand into that water. It felt good for that moment. Then after that, when I took out my hand, the water started freezing. So it became even more worse, So then, luckily, I got a place inside where they have this fireplace where you could sit. So I actually took about 1.5 hours. I stayed there, got my body temperature back to the normal level, and then again we started trekking up. So that was one place.
How do you communicate? I mean, between different groups, or if you're in like level 1, level 2, is there a communication means or?
Yeah, so there is this wireless communication systems. That is, see, up till base camp, Most of these places have these, Nepal has set up these Wi-Fi hotspots. So you can get it. They charge you some amount and it works for 24 hours, 48 hours. You can recharge it. So there are, and then you have Sherpas. There are some people who are experienced who do not need a Sherpa, but since I was a fresher in this, I had a Sherpa who would actually communicate with the tea houses, book a place for me so that, I have a place to stay in the night. But from Everest Base Camp upwards, it is radio communication, ham radios. You've heard about ham radios, right?
Yeah. I know it.
So that's the mode of communication. And of course, they have satellite phones also. So most of the summits are organized by very large players who invest on a satellite phone and things like that. So for an emergency purpose, they do have satellite phones.
What made you subject yourself to this?
I always liked the forest and the mountains. So when I was actually in Sikkim, that's when I saw Kilimanjaro, and then sorry, not Kilimanjaro, this one.
K2.
K2 is in Pakistan. I'm not getting this name now.
Kanchenjunga.
Kanchenjunga, yes. So that's because actually what had happened was I had a breakdown. I was doing a solo northeast on my bike, and I had a breakdown near Ravangla, which is south of Sikkim. And somehow I got to this town called Ravangla, and I got a small place to stay. So I reached this place in the night, and I was actually thinking, what would I do? How would I get back? Because I had this Triumph Tiger, and there are no service centers, and I knew that the clutch plate is burnt, and I had no idea where I could get. And with all these thoughts, I sat and I was sitting there. Then when the morning came, I saw this mountain in front of me, and when the first ray of sunlight hit on that, it was looking beautiful. And that's when it struck me that there is a All India Triumph Tigers group. I could actually seek help in that. So I just had to message on that group, and then I got help from Gangtok, Sikkim, Calcutta, all these places. The Triumph guys shipped the part to Siliguri. So that view of the mountain and that peace what I got, I thought, okay, I should do something. I should climb and see what's beyond that. So that's how it all started for me.
Good for you.
Why did you choose to do it solo rather than with a group?
I did not choose to do solo. I had two of my friends who said they will come with me. And Pratima was really kind enough. She allowed me. My friends' spouses did not allow, so I ended up going solo.
So Srikanth, did they agree to come over a drink and then realized, okay, hangover is done?
Yeah, I think we all planned when we were drinking, but the thing was just before we were to go, there was a crash which happened on the Lukla airfield, the airport. So one of my friend's wife said, no, it's very dangerous. Then she looked it up, and then when you type in Google world's most dangerous airport, it shows the Lukla airport, Tenzing Hillary airport. But I think it was really good to do. I think this year, next year he plans to do it. So let's see.
And after you got down, right? I mean, got back home or got back to the regular kind of human being level ground. How much time did it take to kind of acclimatize or de-acclimatize yourself?
It takes a long time because mountains just grows on you. You love mountains. Suddenly when you come back, you feel that there's nothing to do. Pratima is hearing. I'm sure she has a list of things for me to do now. But there, the life was early morning. You get up by 4. You get ready and start walking. But once you come back to Bangalore, you don't tend to get up at 4 o'clock first thing. And then there's no place to walk around. with these amazing air quality. So when you reach the Himalayas, when you reach the Nepal, you can actually feel the difference in the air. The quality of air is much different. There are people. This is a real experience. One of my friend had these warts on his skin, and so he had plans to remove that under his feet. So he said, "I'll remove this." This was a couple of years ago. So he said, "I will remove it once I come back." But walking there in the Himalayas, it actually went. So by the time he came back, it was not there. So I think there is a lot of healing in that air, in that atmosphere. When you walk in that place. So there are a couple of things which I actually learned, and I started respecting the nature, because when you're doing this Everest base camp, you actually walk through different landscapes. So your appreciation for the nature increases, because you walk through mountains, you walk through glaciers, there's forest. So that tells you, okay, you can't just keep throwing plastic everywhere. You need to protect nature. It has in it healing. And then there you tend to meet a lot of people from across the world, and you learn their culture, their habits, food habits, and there's a lot of cultural exchange which takes place in these kind of places, because everybody's got one goal, but everybody's got a different approach to that same goal. And it is not that one approach is the right one. You can have several approaches. Like for me, to summit, to reach the Everest base camp, I thought drinking water and eating on time was the right thing to do. For some people, it was not that. It was, take enough rest and acclimatize, and then keep moving. So I took only 2 days of break for me to acclimatize, whereas there are people who take more than 2 days or 3 days.
Fascinating. Srikanth, can we see some more visuals, please?
Yes. Okay, I'll show you some from here. You're able to see the screen? So
Yep.
this is the famous dal bhat. So you get this everywhere. This is called dal bhat. So there every Sherpa would talk about this. Pizza, burger, power you for 2 hours, dal bhat 24 hours. Yeah. Then you have seen this is the crowd. This is in the aircraft. So there are 34 people in this aircraft. This is the view. This is the Lukla airport. So this, where I'm standing, is the end of the runway, and this end, you're able to see my cursor?
Yeah.
So this is where the plane touches down, and it has to take a turn here. Okay, because here it's end. So it comes here, turns immediately, and parks itself here. So this is the place where it is parked. That's the runway. That's the runway. This is the parking area. Yeah, this is the terrain through which you walk.
That doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, this is in the beginning days.
Sucker sponge.
And these are more laid out, nice to walk around. So although you saw a lot of people in the airport waiting for their permits, but when you start walking, it's only a couple of people you see. He is my Sherpa. So he was the one who was guiding me, and so we all carry our own stuff. This is the famous Hillary Bridge, which is on top. I have a better view of this, I think. So this is the view from the bridge. Yeah, this whole thing is bridge there.
Hillary Bridge.
These are some of the cattle there. Oh. There's Dal Bhat again. This is the entrance of the national park. This is where it all starts. So, how do they track if somebody is going missing? Is they give you a card. So every checkpost you have to enter. So it gives you a clearance. So okay, you've reached this place. You've reached this place. So if somebody goes missing, then they go back and check till which checkpost have they reached. The water is amazing, clear. There's the bridge. It's a very long bridge. It looks scary, but once you're on top of it, it doesn't actually scare you. But if somebody is scared of heights, maybe yes. So I was chilling because I can actually take. I'm more acclimatized to cold than heat. So this is the last town where you get everything. If you want to buy anything, because after this you cannot buy anything. There's a nice German bakery here where you can eat your pastry and stuff like that. You can buy your trekking shoes, pants, everything. This is the place where you need to. It's Namchi Bazaar here. And the whole bazaar, the town is got these wheels, prayer wheels. And it rotates with this water, which is going below this. This is the Tamserko peak, which you can see. It's visible. This one and Annapurna are the ones which you can actually keep seeing while you keep walking. Annapurna is another peak next to Everest. So a lot of people do ABC also, which is Annapurna Base Camp. Annapurna Base Camp is more laid out. It has more steps.
Very ugly looking buildings.
Sorry?
Ugly looking buildings, but.
Yeah.
Srikanth is an architect, ignore it.
This is Annapurna here. Amadablam, sorry. This is Amadablam. This peak here. This is Amadablam, yeah. So you can see that. This is the Everest. This is the first view of Everest, what you get.
Wow.
Hello.
Yes. Hi, Sami.
Yeah, Srikanth, Shanti and me, we did the Annapurna circuit in 2016.
Correct. Yes, I'm aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could actually share some experience of Annapurna.
No, that time somehow it didn't come through. I didn't do any presentation. So I don't know whether I have the photos and details, etc. When I come back to India, I'll see.
Sure.
Good, Srikanth.
Yeah. I think I'm more done. I can just show you more photographs. Yeah, this is the German bakery pastry.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, amazing it was. I mean, when you are eating just dal bhat every day, you get this. This is how the bakery looks.
Poor guy.
This is the Tibetan bread. I mean, very difficult to have the whole thing, but you got to have it.
Morning, 4 o'clock.
Yeah. And this is the soup. This is actually a garlic and garlic soup, basically. It is not very tasty, but it helps you keep your temperature in check, when you are going up.
And it's supposed to be good for heart, I think, garlic.
But with great difficulty, I used to eat this. This is one of the best parts there. Very laid out, clean, more green. Here, the forest kind of a place starts. This is also nice. The temperature here is about 7 degrees. There's some bazaar. I saw this mask. I didn't pick it up. No space. And you have to carry more weight. And then it starts, the track starts to become like this, more rocky. This guy was carrying 2 cylinders, which were full. Okay. This is out of the rest. This is a water heater, basically, So it channelizes the heat to the center point here, and the water is getting hot.
Solar heaters.
Yeah, solar heaters. Yes. So you won't get lost because everywhere you have boats like this. Lukla is 16 hours walk. This is I was coming from Lukla, so I'd finished this and Namche. So from Lukla you go to Namche, and then from Namche Dingboche.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, this is nice. So morning, your water is actually frozen. You really struggle to brush your teeth. With this water, it's chill water.
I think gives Bluetooth a whole new meaning.
So the thing is, see the ice here, you can see it's not stamped by many people. So if you are in the beginning, you get better grip. After a few people have walked on it, it becomes very slippery. You start slipping. So it's better to be first. So you have better grip. So otherwise, everybody stamps on it and it becomes really like ice, and then you tend to slip more. This is me. This you can see how badly tired I am. That's the kind of steps I was taking. This is on top of EBC.
So you went to Everest campus, eh?
Base camp.
Everest base camp.
Namago.
And there's a guy from US I met, another Mallu guy, and his Sherpa. He was also doing a solo trip. Yeah, I think that's it. Any questions?
Great show, Srikanth.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Very, very nice.
Fabulous. I can imagine that you wouldn't want to come back from there.
Yes.
So Srikanth, I have a question.
Sure.
Srikanth.
Yes.
Raju here, I have a question. So when are you going for summit?
So summit, not very sure because I'm actually, when I went there, Everest did not impress me much, but K2 is what I want to do. So next year, I've been talking to Pratima to grant me permission. I want to do Lhotse. So she was just talking to me and she's like, no, you're not going anywhere now. So I don't know.
No,
but one of the
Srikanth, there is I think one has to pay some $50,000-$60,000 to summit Everest camp. Everest.
Yes, so the cost is to Everest Base Camp. If you're in a team of 7, it works out to about 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs per person.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm not planning Everest right now, so maybe I'll do the 6,000 peaks, 6,000 meters peaks now. That doesn't cost much.
Work your way, Srikanth, convincing Pratima. All the
Yeah,
best.
The problem for
All the
Srikanth
best.
is that it's not just climbing, and he also is looking at the motorcycling thing,
True.
which is the other thing which is pulling him across.
Yes. Yeah, so yeah, it's a choice between the two, you know. So both are equally exciting.
Take the motorbike to Everest.
So yeah, I was actually when Pratima was asking me, I was actually telling her, you know, actually I wanted to take the bike to the Everest Base Camp, and this was actually kind of a recce kind of a trip. But I realized you cannot go on the bike there because there's no road or there's no track at all. So the thing you can do is maybe cycle, but it's a cycle also is going to be very difficult. Even a 4x4 cannot go there, you know. So there are no vehicles there, and I think that's the best part. Till the time vehicles are not allowed there, I think that place will be beautiful. Once
On that
vehicles
note,
So Srikanth, quick question for
Yes.
a non-mountaineer or non-climber, is it the training from start to full readiness? Do you think it's a 1 year sort of a training if you plan?
No, so I
Training
was
has been
not a
taken.
mountain guy, so I done the most mountaineering I had done was climb Nandi Hills and Chamundi Hills. So I started training for it in December and April. So December was not very serious. January is when I started actually taking it very seriously, and by April I could do it. But it was very intense training. So I think in a week, 3 days of cardio and 3 days of strength training, you should be able to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So for me, I think my age was on my side. For somebody else, it might be 6 months, but it is not very difficult. If you're the basic fitness level, what you require for actually doing an EBC is you should be able to take 15 kilos of weight and 5 kilometers of walk in I think in about an hour's time. 45 to 50 minutes. If you're able to do that comfortably, then you're ready to do the EBC.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that sounds very doable, Srikanth.
Yes.
Yeah. No, the way you make it sound. If you can do that, yes, that sounds very doable.
15 kilos is not much, you know, just school bag is 15 kilos now.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
but at least it's a good milestone for you to try it once, I mean, at regular intervals and then decide whether you pass or fail.
Yes.
If you are fail, you watch
Yes.
Srikanth's videos. If you are pass, then you can make an attempt.
Yeah, we can go
Then you
together.
can join him.
Then you
Exactly.
come back and show me.
wonderful. Okay, I've just noticed that we are well over time. So as we wind up, can I request Dash to say a few words, please? And Srikanth,
Thank you, Sushila.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Srikanth. I know we are well past the time. 3 quick things on the fellowship part. So one is, as we heard, there are 42 different fellowships in the district, and anybody can join, Rotarians as well as non-Rotarians. Second is, if people have special interests, like you want to be the best in the left small toenail surgery, you can form a fellowship. All you need is like-minded people who come together. Some of the fellowships cost money. For instance, the International Fellowship of Golfing Rotarian charges 1,000 rupees as an entry fee. And of course, you become a member for life. But some of them attract a small fee to join the fellowship. And there are other fellowships like chess and whatever, which is just for enjoyment and free. Also, there is a move to telescope a couple of fellowships so that people from one can enjoy the other. For instance, under Samir Haryani, the Rotary International Fellowship of Golfing Rotarians tried to link up with the International Fellowship of Wine Tasters. When I asked him what is the possible reason, he said at least the golfers will have a high opinion of their game after linking up with wine. So that's on the fellowship part. Srikanth, that is a fantastic journey that you took us through. Thank you so much. I'm sure many of us will never ever have a chance to get a sort of ringside view of what you did. As a child growing up in Chennai, for me, St. Thomas Mount was a very tall mountain at 91 meters. For you to have done what you did and explain it the way you did is fantastic. And I'm sure a couple of people here are going to be goaded into saying, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. So it's so nice that you're able to find the energy. And what I would say is that tell Pratima that next year you're going to go to another mountain with Rahu. Maybe she'll allow you to climb Ketu. So that's all I had to say, Sushila. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. 20 plus people. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you and congratulations, Srikanth, once again.
Thank you.
Well done. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. With this, I adjourn this meeting.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sushila. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Thanks, Srikanth. Bye. Good night.